Why, hi there, I'm Ron Juckett. It's time once again for This Week on the E. Last week never happened. Never mind, it didn't happen. All the good stuff just didn't happen. It was a dream, just like Bobby Ewing going away for a year. Today, I'm joined by the usual, the commissioner and chief bottle washer and laundry guru of the Eastern Massachusetts Roller Hockey League, Dave Gardner. How you doing, Dave?
Oh, boy. You talk about laundry guru? Man, we had a little episode here behind me last week, Saturday, I should say. I come home from Saturday games. I throw a load of laundry in behind me, and I'm over here, pretty much right where I am right now doing stats. And I heard all this water, and I was like, boy, the laundry machine's really loud. And I turn, I look over, and there's water going everywhere in my basement. And it's furnished down here with the floor and everything. So I race over, and usually when it backs up, that means something get in the drain, like a sock or something. So I reached in, nothing. And I just instantly knew I had a serious problem on my hands. So I'm hitting buttons to try to get the washing machine to stop. So I got it to stop. And what does it do? Yeah, let's just dump all the water out of the machine. So water's going everywhere. I'm picking up buckets and trash cans, and I'm trying to like empty the sink into these trash cans, at least to keep the water off the floor. Then the water starts seeping everywhere down here because it's still emptying. And I got towels, and the wife come down. We got a little barrier going, and we contained the water until it stopped coming out of the washing machine. What a nightmare. So we cleaned all that up, and I tried to snake the drain, and there was nothing. And so I knew I had just a big problem here. So we called the drain company, and luckily friends of ours, a couple streets over, actually have a drain company, and they're like, well, we're busy, but we'll be there in a couple of hours. So they show up, and they're like, yeah, we got to get to the main water line. We didn't know where it was. We're looking everywhere. We're looking inside, outside. So we ended up tearing apart some of the walls and the floors down here to try to find the main, because he was trying to snake it like I did and got nowhere. Luckily, a second guy showed up, and he's like, oh, I know all about these houses in this neighborhood. And he went right over here to where the water comes in. He ripped up a floorboard, and there was the main. And he drilled. He said he went out like 80 to 100 feet.
My God.
And he hit some roots. And there's a saw on the end of that snake that cuts through the roots. And he did that, pulled the snake back in and said, you're all set. He said that that's a very common thing. And he goes, I suggest, once a year we come back and do this to keep up with it. And it's been awesome since he left. I mean, I still don't do a wash without being here because I'm still paranoid about it. But all the drains are working so much better since he did this. But yeah, what a disaster. So yeah, anybody that's got a house, you might want to call a drain company to come out and snake out your main just to prevent this from happening, because even if it's $100 or $200, the amount of grief you're going to save from water damage is unbelievable.
It's the old Fram ads for the air filters. You can pay me now, or you can pay me later.
Basically, yeah, but I was panicking because they were here quite a few hours, and I'm just saying, what if they can't fix it? I mean, I couldn't take a shower. I couldn't do dishes. Couldn't flush a toilet because water was not leaving my house. What do you do? I mean,
don't eat Taco Bell. What you don't do.
They found it. And I kept coming downstairs. They said, you got any good news? You got any good news? And finally, they're like wrapping things up and like, yep, we found some roots. All set.
So how old is your plumbing?
I don't know. This house was built in the 50s.
So that's 60 some odd, almost 70 years old. That would, yeah. All right, before we introduce the guests, you should go through the sponsors.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the guys behind me here. On this side over here, I have One Call Ventilation. They sponsored the tan jerseys, kind of the Las Vegas Knights jersey, so to speak. And over here on my right was the Aces Games and More in Revere. And I like going Aces games. They got new games. They got retro games, video games. Then they have all sorts of paraphernalia there. A lot of Patriot stuff coming in for the Super Bowl over there at Aces. So, yeah, I think it was hashtag Aces Boston was trending on things for a while there. Also, we have Paramount Wealth Strategies, Everett Bank, Alpha Omega Hobby in Quincy, Bates Insurance in Medford, the Local 103 IBW. And I got to say, the Local 103 jerseys, those are the white and orange jerseys. And I think the teams that have won the white jerseys for IBW have combined for one win. since we got those jerseys. So those are the cursed jerseys right now.
Curse.
Yeah. So anybody that wears the white version of the orange, so it looks like that, but instead it's more of a navy and an orange than that is. Those jerseys are just cursed right now. Nobody can get a win in them.
Yeah, except for me.
Rounding it out, we have East Boston Savings Bank, and I actually wore the East Boston Savings Bank jersey last night in the game I played. So,
and how did you do?
I helped my team to a 12-11 loss.
Okay. Did the algorithm write about it? I'm actually going to read it.
It won't mention me, but there is something there. Yeah.
All right. And our guest this week is the goaltender from the Saturdays Gone in 60 Seconds. Mike Bozio, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Good. Doing well, thanks. So, Dave, I'll let you ask the first question.
Yeah. So, I guess, Mike, we like to ask, how'd you come about joining the league?
So I grew up originally in Connecticut, moved to Mass in about 2005-ish, took a year off from hockey and started wanting to get back into it. And that's when I kind of found the E. And I didn't get into that just yet, but you started at some sort of travel league that I found that was going around at all these different rinks around
myself and Ruppy Haley, we started the East Coast Inline Hockey League. We did it for one season.
Yep.
And I want to say it was spring of 2006. Okay. And we just put something up on the web. I don't even think we had Facebook going back then. I can't remember. And we got 7 teams out of the blue. We got 7 calls from 7 guys, and we put in a 7-team league. And we played the spring of 2006. In fact, I still have those stats, and there's a small chance I will upload those stats onto our stat webpage as a 3rd league for that one season, because there's a lot of guys that played with us that played in that one season there, and it'd be neat to add those, almost like the WHA, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, so it was the East Coast Inline Hockey League. We ran it for one season, and then I think at that point, when that ended, we bought the Holbrook rink. So we didn't have time to run that 2nd league. And I think teams kind of went off on their own way. But it just kind of fell into place for one season. And, yeah, I think that's when we met you. Your team was the White Russians, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, it was a horrible team. I think I lost it. I don't want to even see my stats for that league. But, yeah, so when that ended, I think Ruppy was actually leaving on Tuesday. So it was like a nice little transition. I slid right into the Tuesday league. And then pretty much from there, I've been playing ever since. Except for a little break with a little injury that I had.
Yeah, so tell us. So yeah, so we finished that season. You started filling in an EMRHL. So you must have played quite some time then, 06 to whenever, right?
Yeah, I didn't take any breaks. I played from 06 to 2014, and that's when I was involved in a car crash.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So it was April 14th of 2014. I was driving home from work about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was probably about 10 minutes from my house, and all of a sudden, boom, I got hit head on by a drunk driver.
Oh.
Ended up breaking my ankle in 3 places, broke my femur on my right side, and broke my wrist as well. So basically my whole right side was taken out. Now I have a rod going through my femur to hold that together, and I still have, to this day, I have 2 plates and 9 screws holding my ankle together.
You play goalie.
Yes, I play goalie, and I feel every time I go down, I feel the nice little rod in my femur, like saying, "Hello, remember me."
I think I have a picture here. I don't know. Oh, it's not coming up for some reason.
Oh, there we go. Oh my!
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, so I found that picture here. Of Mike's car. So yeah, that's how serious it was.
We just got a brief glimpse of it.
Yeah,
man, that's scary. And so
yeah, it was not fun. It took me a very long time before I was able to even kind of like walk right again. Dave, funny stories. Dave actually came to visit me in the hospital. I was in the hospital for a little over a month. Dave came to visit me, and at that point, when he was doing his show, before he had the YouTube thing, he was doing this like radio show. I don't know if you remember.
A lot of audio, yeah.
Yeah. So the best part is, so you came, interviewed me. And I just remember you had like a remember to take the lens cap moment off because you forgot to hit record. So we did do the interview twice.
Yeah, we did a whole interview and no audio, and we had to do it all again.
Meanwhile, I'm on like so many different drugs, and I remember what I said the last time. It was quite comical.
Your wife enjoyed it though; she was happy.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was there. So it took me, I think, 3.5 years to come back. I actually have dates. So April 8th of 2014 was my last game, and then October 24th of 2017 is when I started to make my comeback. And then the best part about that game is I was playing for Dennis on Tuesday. I was subbing in. And in that game, in the second period, I tore my MCL in my good knee. So I went from having my right side all taken out to tearing my MCL in my good leg. And it took a few months. I think it was like, March of 18 is when I started playing again full time.
So it's the old song, if it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all.
That's right.
My God. I see here from your stats that you're very symmetrical. We have you down for 260 games.
Yep.
And your record is 120 and 120. So
I like to be even. I'm an even type of guy.
So how was it, because we all get older. I mean, that's just something that happens. And except for Dave, he's always been 21. How was it to come back in your, how old were you when you had your accident and then came back? I mean, talk about the
it took me a while to get the speed of it down. I was letting kind of like a lot of easy ones. I still do that actually. I let a lot of easy ones in, but just the up down playing goalie and the side to side. I just had to get used to the ankle. Originally, when I started playing, I was wearing an ankle brace. I don't do that anymore. It's basically just it's kind of like riding the bike. You kind of get into it, but the hardest part was actually the stretching because I hadn't done a lot of splits, and not that I really do that many splits anyways. But just the stretching part of it, I didn't want to pull anything as well. So it was just a mixture of everything kind of all put together that I kind of had to get used to it again.
And you still got toe cramps?
Tell us about the toe cramps.
No more toe cramps. Thanks, Dave, for bringing that one up.
Yeah, Mike left the game writhing in pain. I mean, we were like getting ready to call the ambulance. I mean, here's this guy rolling around on the ground. And I'm like, holy cow, what do we do? And we get him off the court. And he's off to the side, and he's sweating, and he's just like, I got a toe cramp. What do you do?
Other than my car accident, that was the most pain I've ever been in, just saying. And I think the game was tied. It actually went to like a shootout. And I think Hayes had to go in and fill in for a shootout, cold.
Yeah, something like
nice
that,
guy. Yeah. Nice. So what keeps you motivated? Because you sounds like you climb both sides of the mountain to get to where you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's just just the love of the game. I know it's kind of cliche-ish, but it's just if you love it so much, it was kind of a motivator for me to get healthy again. And even since day one, I was talking about getting back in net, and it took a while, but. I'm enjoying every minute of it. It's one of those things you can't take things for granted. Again, it's kind of cliche-ish, but you never know what's going to happen from one day. I mean, it was like a flash when the crash happened, and one of the best stories of that too is actually at the crashing, I called my wife to say, hey, I was in a car accident. I never passed out from the crash, but I called my wife, and the crash actually happened on a Tuesday. So my wife, being trained, she doesn't call my family first. She calls Chris Buglio to let Dave know that I need a sub for that night. And then she calls my family to let them know that I was in a crash.
As it should be, right? We need to make sure you got a goalie coming.
My wife was awesome through the whole process, and it's just a little funny, add to it that she called the hockey league first before my family. So
that is funny. Did you play goalie in high school?
No, I didn't play in any hockey teams, official teams. So I grew up playing on the mean streets of Connecticut. We just had street hockey. A lot of the kids that were on my street, we had a bunch of kids. A lot of the kids that were on my street played actual ice hockey. So when rollerblades really started coming out, they were all on rollerblades. I can't really skate that well. So what do you stick the guy that can't skate very well? In net. So then when I grew up a little bit more with regards to like high school, they were all kind of doing that. I ended up finding a league that was probably 10 minutes from my house. And I just played goalie, like roller hockey goalie for, it's probably been since 2000, like 1999 is probably when I really started playing roller hockey goalie. And,
a long time.
Yeah.
So it's either the kid that can't skate or the fat kid that gets shoved in goal.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I can skate, but I just don't really. You don't want to see me on skates.
Dave, you want to vouch for that or no?
I don't think I've ever seen him skate. I've seen him play net, so I imagine he skates a lot better.
Good one.
All right. Well, speaking of that, we should probably get to what happened on Saturday.
Yeah.
The 6 games as usual. And since we missed last week, we'll just go right to this week. So the games of March 9th. Struggling kick-ass, kick the crap out of a lifeless face-off team to kick off the morning. Nice pun there, algorithm. It was 6-0 kick-ass in the second before face-off finally beat goalie Mike Parkinson. Jay Rizzo barely had more points than Kaz, who had none. Oh, did Kaz get shut out again? I don't like that.
Kaz is struggling a little bit. This team was on fire for first 5 or 6 weeks, and now they did a struggle. I think they were reading their own press clippings is what it was.
Okay. Mike, I'm sorry for that. If I'm responsible for Eric's slump, I am deeply sorry. Play harder, damn it. Mike DeVincent and Sean Crosby had strong games for the victors. Parkinson picked up his first win of the year. At 8 o'clock, National Treasure beat the Rock 7-4. It was another upset at 8 as lowly National Treasure hammered the Rock 7-4 thanks to a pair of goals by Jeremy Gallagher. Joe Estrella chipped in with 5 points, a career high. Wow. The Rock stumbled without sub Gardner there to score 3 goals, as you would. It was their first loss of the season, and they came and destroyed the plumbing in Dave's house after. Nick Rao is on the trading block, according to insiders. I can't see you at the moment, so I don't know what bird you're flipping me. At 9 o'clock, Raising Arizona beat Arsenal 5-3. The Arsenal win streak came to an end as Joe Marino threw Arizona on his back and carried them to a 5-3 win. Greg Good chipped in with 2 goals to quote-unquote help. The game featured a now famous, a hand pass call. Wow, it will be talked about for years to come, Dave. Why is that?
So late in the game, I think it was a 2-goal game, luckily. And Arsenal pulls the goalie, and I think it was, it was Greg Good or Tom Help in a Tom Hill. I have to look at the roster. But one of the guys intercepts the ball at center, and it comes up in the air, and he bats it down, and he plays it, and he shoots it in the open net, and fill-in referee Chris McKeel called the hand pass right before he shot it, too. So we had to explain to Chris, I mean, Hart was in the right place, but in hockey, you can hand pass the puck of the ball to yourself. That is a legal play. And he was a little confused by that, maybe caught up in the excitement of a close game. I'm not sure. But, yeah, he got it, played it to himself. As soon as he got it, Chris blows the whistle right as he shot it into the open net. Goal was disallowed. We all got to laugh, and we laughed, and we laughed. And it didn't affect the game, so that's what made it even better.
That's what makes it funny, yeah. Tony Laverty figured in all 3 Arsenal goals, by the way. 10 a.m. Fast Times and Rumblefish. This sounds like this was a good game. The 2 of the top teams met. Well, of course it was a good game then. With one team getting some huge upgrades, but they still fell in overtime after a last-minute tying goal. Oh, so the one score I don't read beforehand is the one you don't have in the first paragraph. Fast Times beat Rumblefish 7-6. Dennis Bertocci had 4 goals in a sub roll. Wow. But it was Andrew Conlon's shot in overtime that would get the Purple Fast Times the extra point and bonus hockey. That sounds like that was a pretty good game.
It was. It just it was just too sad that Rumblefish stacked up their team with subs, and 5 of their 6 goals were sub goals. So just saying. I mean, they weren't bad subs, but just saying the sub goal is a sub goal.
That's right. 11 o'clock. Leaving Las Vegas 9. Snake Eyes rolled Snake Eyes. How about that? They rolled it too. The bottom of the league took center stage at 11 a.m. this week, and the 11th place Los Angeles team blew out the 12th place Snake Eyes. Ouch. Prompting league officials to scramble. Rookie John Red Barletta scored his first EMRHL goal. Congratulations, Sean. That's awesome. And then Liam and Kuz took over the scoring for the winners. Sub Kevin McGovern was a non-factor for the Snake Eyes. First goal ever, huh?
Yeah, in fact, he's missing this week. I guess his wife's ready to have a baby. So he missed a couple weeks, and he was back this week, scored a goal, and then he let me know that this week they got to figure out how to get the baby out one way or another, I guess. So he'll be missing this week. But, yeah, it's his first season. He picked up his first goal. Good for him. And can you guess what color jerseys Snake Eyes is wearing?
Huh. Cursed. The cursed color.
Yep, they had some good subs too. JT and McGovern and the whole bit. They just can't get it together. They're still winless. We're trying to figure out a trade, but on paper, they're not a bad team. Just on the rink, they are.
It's like listening to me sing. It just doesn't go down very well. The noon game was the one that our guest played in. Gone in 60 seconds, got him a win. They beat Ghost Rider 7-5. Ghost Rider has lost 3 in a row now, and they've quickly fallen to 500 on the season. It was 3-3 midway through the second before the collapse began this week. Tachi, Cacciatore, and Spulio each had goals for the winners. Mark Fury nearly had a goal, but that open net at the end proved to be elusive for him.
Mike, what do you remember about that game?
It was a fun game. It was close the whole time, I thought, and there's back and forth. I remember on my team we had DePrado subbing in, and of course in the first minute of the game he gives up the puck, and I had one shot, one goal against me. I remember that, as usual, and but it was close until the end. I know they had some chances in towards the end of the game there where they made the game. It was fun. I like those games.
Do you play in the same time slot every week like some of the teams, or do you bounce around?
I bounce around. Okay. I think generally just there's one team at 7 that stays the same, and everybody else kind of bounces around.
Okay. And so, tell us give us a good overall view of your team.
We have again on paper we're good. We're even though we won this week, we dropped back in the standings. So we've been having an attendance issue as part of our issue. So we've had a lot of subs, and we couldn't really get into a rhythm. This week we only had one guy out, and I felt we've been playing really well, passing the ball. We finally figured out the lines, and had some good shots, and ended up winning this game. So
attendance has been a problem all season, Dave, hasn't it?
Saturday leagues, they're a little bit more fussy. It's Saturday mornings can be tough for some guys. Maybe some guys get called into work. Maybe, the wife has to do something, so they got to watch the kids. So it just comes with the territory of a Saturday morning league. And we're all used to it. We don't really freak out anymore about it. But, I mean, we just deal with it the best we can.
And congrats on the new kid that's coming, to the guy that scored his first goal. That's such an exciting time.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. He's new. I don't know much about him. He's new this season. So as he plays more, we'll get to learn more about him. All
right. You can give us some stats and standings?
Yeah, let me see if I can share my stats here. I'm gonna go over here, and I'm still figuring all this out. So let's go to my how about this right here?
How about
How's
that?
that look? Yeah. All right, good. So we got is that Saturday league leaders?
It's overall leaders. Dan Lopes with 50 points already.
That's Tuesday. I'm sorry. Hang on. Let me go to my Saturday.
All right. No standings, though.
All right. Yeah, we'll take a quick look at the standings on Saturday and see where everything is. Is that coming up there?
You got it.
Okay. So, so obviously the Rock 6-1-0, Rumblefish 5-0-1-1. So they're tied with 12 points. Face off, that's the early team. Millsy there, 5-2. They're tied with Fast Times. Courtney Brown's got good things going with that Fast Times team. And then a whole bunch of teams right here in the middle of the pack, as you can see, going all the way down to the bottom two teams with Mike Bozio gone in 60 seconds, and then that cursed Snake Eyes team.
Mike, your goal differential isn't too bad. -6 in 7 games isn't terrible.
No, it's not bad. There's been a couple games that we lost where we didn't score enough. I landed some bad ones, so we're okay. It's just I think there's a lot of some really good teams out there this season.
So so it's not too bad. Aside from the one team at the bottom, which we got to try to fix, so to speak. It's pretty close. Taking a look at our Saturday leaders here. I don't have Mark's picture there. He's a new guy. I got to get some photos. I tried to take some photos on week 1, but it was so cold in the rink that I put the backdrop up behind the guys, and the tape wouldn't adhere to the wall. It was too cold, so I'll try again. But yeah, so Fast Times at the top. Scribner and Nick Bertocci going crazy up here. They're tied with Tony Laverty of Arsenal. So, Mike, remind me at the next draft that Tony's tied for the league lead in scoring.
He's a number 1 pick now.
He's a number 1 pick. He likes to play himself down in the draft, but he's a number 1 pick. I mean, who is it? He's up there. He's got more points than Mike Conley and Greg Wood, right? Now, I don't know how Caggiano's in this group. That is really, really odd, but he is good for him. And then we can see Kuzak, Good, and Hunter Graves kind of wrap up the top 10 there. But, yeah, so that is a quick look at some of the league leaders on Saturday.
All right. Well, let's go to Tuesday. Just 4 games, of course, on Tuesday as we celebrate Sylvester Stallone's illustrious career. The first game was a close one. Stop My Mom or Shoot beat the Expendables in overtime 8-7. The last place Expendables just keep losing the close games. This week they lost the lead with 5:33 to play, then fell in overtime on a Dennis B. goal. Fill-in goalie Steven Mills. He lost? I'm heartbroken. Played great for the Expendables and has been offered a full-time spot by the team pending league approval. Would the commissioner care to talk about that?
You know what it is that the Expendables, you can guess which jerseys they wear, right? So they were just so excited to get a point last night that, you know, when Mills filled in for the goalie, I think they just were so excited. They were caught up in the moment. They were like, hey, can you play for our team full-time because you got us a point? I think it was more of that than anything else. It is pending league approval. Not that I don't think Justin would mind leaving that team and going to another team, but then again, everybody wants off that team. I don't know, Ron. All I do is just show up to the rink and do the games. But all in all, it was a good game. Yeah, a very, very early goal in overtime last night. Expendables had the lead. I think 5.5 minutes left. They coughed it up. Dennis Bertocci scored. 5:33.
Yeah, 5:33.
And then it was very quickly in overtime that they scored that goal there. But yeah, all in all, decent game, good show. Again, it's another last place team that is just it keeps it close most weeks, not every week, but most weeks. So
Joe Burrito played well for 2 periods, but looked quote unquote distracted in the third.
Yeah, that team there always plays well for 2 periods. They'll be up 10-2 after 2, and then going into the third, they I think they just read their own press. I think they start talking about who is the better player, who's going to be a star of the week, and that leads to a downfall. And they usually go to overtime or win or lose late. They just they don't play well in the third.
That is a Bill Simmons sucker punch every week. All right, 7:30, Cliffhanger and Rambo, a pair of mediocre teams with little defense. Men up at 7:30. Remember how he takes his coffee to get better write-ups. When the dust settled, Cliffhanger survived a late Rambo rally and picked up a 12-11 win. God, it must have taken you 20 minutes to put the stats in from that game. After being ineffective for 2 periods, Dan Loeb scored 4 in the third for Rambo. New goalie Al Frazier got the win for Cliffhanger in his first ever E-game. Wow. Good for him. Lucas had 6 goals for Cliffhanger, but still finished -3 on the game.
Yeah, tough night for Lucas. Yeah, we had 3 goalies missing last night, so we ended up going with a brand new guy who played very well, despite the 11 goals. It was just a completely offensive game. So he played very well. Yeah, I played for Rambo, and we had a late charge at the end, which was good because we were down by a lot of goals. And we had a late charge, scored 3 or 4 late goals. We got it to within 1, and we just couldn't get that last goal in to tie it. All in all, it was a fun game, very offensive game. But then again, these 2 teams are very offensive teams. And it's going to be interesting to see come playoff time how a team with no defense will fare.
Mike, what advice would you give to someone who had to play goal in an emergency situation?
Just go out and have fun. Don't get nervous. I remember when I first started, you just go out and do your best, obviously. It's a tough situation, but, like I said, just go out and do your best. You know.
Sounds pretty good. 8:30 saw Tango and Cash and Rocky play, and Tango and Cash won 6-3. Nobody can beat the Wiz or Tango and Cash. This week, Rocky tried, but much like Rocky 1, could not get the job done. Backup goalie Garrett Phelan stopped all 7 shots in the third to preserve the win for the first-place team. Chris Spilio had 2 goals and just 1 broken stick for Tango. I thought you guys all used graphite shafts.
We do, and he still finds a way to break them.
My goodness. Even the worst guy on the team, Dave Barkley, had a goal. CJ Clark had a bad showing for Rocky in the loss.
Yeah, Tango and Cash continues to win. What are they, 6-0-2 when we check the standings? I'll double check that, but they're undefeated in regulation time, as far as I know. Just another strong showing. And yeah, Garrett Phelan, he shows up like every third week for the team, so we've designated him as backup goalie. And yeah, Rocky hasn't been the same since Jim Griffin got back into town. Griffin missed the first half of the season, and now Griff, one of the old timers in the EMRHL, is back on the Rocky team, and they seem to be struggling a little bit, even with his senior guidance.
Okay. And the last game of the week, Lords of the Flatbush made it 3 in a row since their captain took a leave of absence for a work-related issue. Paying him now to work second shift extra now, aren't they? This week, it was Tony Laverty subbing in, picking up a couple of assists and playing some terrific defense in an 8-7 overtime win over the top. That's terrible English, Ron. Brian Estrella scored a sweet game winner in overtime after Chris Swanson had tied the game for over the top with just 26 seconds to play. Scott Brown was flat in this game.
Yeah, it was. This was the Lords of Flatbush who started off the season 0-6, I believe, and they've now put together 3 wins in a row. And Captain Greg Smith has missed all 3 games. Call it a coincidence if you want, but that is the facts of the matter. And this week, they a late goal by Swanson tied it up 26 seconds. You could see that coming. It was really fun. It was, 7-6, I think it was, and it was a matter of time for they scored, and they capped off a 4-goal third period to rally and tie the game. And then I think it was just 14 seconds, a minute left in overtime. We only played a couple minutes of overtime, and a nice pass over to Brian. He just nice goal. It was really nice. I don't know how he did it, flip and stick somewhere. I don't know, but he scored on fill-in goalie Steven DePrato and got him the win. So it's 3 in a row for the team that used to be in last place.
And DePrato is your goat of the week, and the one line is this week he allowed many soft goals in an 8-7 loss.
Yeah, he wasn't happy with himself, and neither was his team.
I can't imagine why, but it sounds like it's all pretty competitive. So what are the standings in the Tuesday League?
All right, let's see if I can share those standings here. I'm
By
getting
the way, if you're watching live, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We do this every week, and Dave does streams and some videos of some games, and we got some good things coming up too, I think, EMRHL related as well.
Yeah. Facebook is down right now. I tried to share this to Facebook, but Facebook is down for maintenance on my end. So yeah, but I'll share this later when we're back. But anyway, let's talk about some of the stats here. So here are the standings. As you can see, Tango and Cash coming in at 7-0-2. Yeah, so they haven't lost at all, even in overtime. Over the top, they picked up a overtime loss, so they got a point, but they're 5-2-0-2. So they're still 4 points back. Tango just keeps winning quietly. They've won 7 in a row after 2 ties. I think if you remember, Ron, when we started the show, Tango had started with 2 ties.
Yep.
And they've since won 7 straight games. Stop of My Mom will shoot barely over 500 at 5-3-1. A big log jam here, 10, 9, and 9 points. You can see Lords of Flatbush 3-6. If you look at the right side, they've won 3 in a row. So they are out of last place at 3-6. Now at the bottom, the Expendables picking up an overtime loss last night. Got them a very important point for them. And we'll just take a quick look at the league leaders over here for a Tuesday night. And Dan Lopes last night, again, a big third period for Rambo. So Danny Lopes is 50 points. And again, what was that team? 500? Imagine getting Bozio, imagine getting 50 points and being a 500 team.
I'm looking at the 40 goals in one season is phenomenal.
What's the record, Dave? You know?
I'd have to go back, but I would say it's probably either Brian Estrella, Jay Rizzo, or Mike Conley would probably be the guy that had the most goals. I mean, those guys are just phenomenal. Tyler Bova was one of the up-and-coming guys in the league. He's cooled off the last few seasons, but he's still one of the top guys here, 39. And then that Brian Estrella we just talked about, and Lord to Flatbush, who the up-and-coming team in the league. I don't think anybody wants to play them in the playoffs, especially if Greg Smith is on a road trip. Mike Arsenal from Rambo, again up there. Another cliffhanger with Lucas. Lucas, 32 points, but like I say, if we kept plus-minus, I bet he would lead the league in minus. Just saying. And Chris Mahoney, the lone bright spot on the Expendables, trying to keep that team relevant on Tuesday nights. He's up there as well in the top of the leaderboard for scoring. And that will round out some of our Tuesday stats.
Poor Rambo. I mean, they're +8 in goal differential and they're 500.
Yeah, that's how it can go on a Tuesday or Saturday. You just don't know. Like Mike said, he wins and loses a lot of close games. There's only a 6-goal differential for his Saturday team, and they're in second to last place.
Yeah, yeah. Just one missed pass, one missed pass here and there can make all the difference in the world. All right. So anything else there? I mean, we talked about your laundry problem and Roto-Rooter and toe cramps. I'm impressed. Now here's an amazing thing. I read Wayne Gretzky's book as a kid, and his toes are double.
He wrote a book called As a Kid?
No, he did not write a book called As a Kid. The Walter years, right? But he says that his toes were double jointed.
So twice as many toe cramps?
I would think so. I'm not going.
Mike, what would you do with twice as many toe cramps?
I would cry, I think. I'm forever going to be known as the toe cramp guy. That's all I know.
There are worse things to be known about. I mean, have you ever been the goat of the week?
Oh, yes. Yep. Not too many, but there's been a few where I let in some really bad timed goals, and I was the goat.
I think the week you're in the car crash, you were the goat.
Probably. But at least I told you when we found a sub before.
You did. You did from the hospital bed with your good arm. Screams. I could hear you saying, "I won't be there next week."
I need a sub.
We can laugh about it now.
Oh yeah, it's funny. Oh yeah.
You can't laugh at yourself. Who can you laugh at? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you've made the tough road back to make it through and to play at a high level.
Yeah, and what's really
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't call it a high level. I'm playing, but not high level.
Well, in all honesty, Mike, I mean, seeing you in that hospital bed, and then basically you saying, "I'll never play hockey again," and then I visited you at the house a couple times, and you couldn't get around very well, and then you come up to the rink a few times, and you were walking, and I thought that was pretty good that you were able to walk somewhat normally. And then you said you wanted to give it a try coming back in the net after telling me you were never going to play again. And you played in a scrimmage, and then you played on a Tuesday night, and then again you pulled your knee out or whatever. But you fought back, and you never gave up, and now you're here playing full time, and that's something I just didn't think I'd see out of you, just because what you told me, the extent of your injuries and a whole bit. But you fought. It was a long. How many years? I mean, aside from that one game you got hurt, how many years between the games?
It was basically 3.5 years. I had five surgeries in that time. I remember when you had the 15th anniversary party out back of Hockey Town. I think I was in a walking boot at that point.
Yeah, I think there's a picture of you in a walking boot. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had crutches and a walking boot. I literally could not walk right so the accident happened in April. It took me to, I think, end of August, September is when I finally started walking without the boot and walking normal again. So that was like a 5-month period. And then overall, then I tore a tendon in my ankle, and it just went from there and there and there. And it took it was a long process. And now I'm actually training. Probably 1 month from tomorrow, I'm going to be participating in what's called the Tough Ruck, which is the day before the Boston Marathon. They have a marathon where I'll be raising money for veterans and veteran families of fallen soldiers. and I'm going to be rucking with a backpack and 15 pounds and walking 26.2 miles. So I'm going to be going from barely being able to walk, 4.5 years ago to hopefully being able to complete this marathon. Because this April to be the 5-year anniversary of my car crash, and this kind of shows that I'm back.
So you're going to be driving, right? Yeah.
I wish. Yeah. No, 26.2 miles.
Wow.
With 15 pounds on my back. Hopefully.
Have you ever done anything like that before?
No. Nope. So there's a few coworkers I'm doing with. There's gonna be like 6 of us from my work here. We're gonna go hit it hard and see if we can raise some good money. And
got a website to plug for that?
Maybe I'll post it on the if Dave Adelas on the Facebook page there. It's a CrowdRise website. Toughrock.org is the website, and I'll post my link if people would like to donate. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's going to be a long day. A few years ago, I was doing a lot of walking, and I still like to get out there once in a while. And on a good spring day or summer day that wasn't too hot, if all my work was done, I go for a walk, and I would do 6 miles, and I would just like do loops around my neighborhood and get on by the Cumming Center and come back, and I'd have my headphones on, and I would do 6 miles, and I was done. I mean, when I come home, I'm up and my feet are like this, burning after just 6 miles, and I think I want to say I was doing 20-minute miles. So that was about a 2-hour walk, a little over a 2-hour walk to do the 6 miles. And I was done. Like the rest of the day, I was done. I would come home. It's like, good thing all my work's done because I'm putting my feet up and I felt good, but I was physically tired. I can't imagine if that was 6 miles, 26 miles. I mean,
it's going to take me about 9 hours.
I was going to say, yeah, because if you're doing, probably a little faster than I was just walking to 20 minutes a mile. So if I'm doing 3 miles an hour, in 2 hours, I do 6. So even if you did 4 miles an hour, that's a good pace.
I'm hoping to do like 17-minute miles, 18-minute miles. I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit under 9 hours. It's going to take a long time.
Is a point A to point B, or are you kind of doing like a circle?
It's kind of like a loop. So it's along the Minuteman Trail in Lexington and Concord, along the old battle trail there. So there's one section where it starts at the old North Bridge, and then you walk around the center of Concord, and then it goes on that trail there. And there's a loop where it goes back and forth a couple times, and you end up back at the old North Bridge.
So you're not doing Heartbreak Hill at 5 o'clock at night?
No. But the next day, I work for the Newton Police. I'll be working the marathon the next day. I got a 6 a.m. roll call. So I'll be on the route there for the marathon.
You're going to be sore.
That's going to be – luckily, I sit in the command post all day. So luckily, I can sit down for 12-hour shift.
And so the Frosty start at 6 o'clock at night, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because you'll have earned one, at least from the walk.
Yeah, definitely post that link if you haven't already. Post that on the E-page.
Sure. Yeah, appreciate it.
And before we wrap up, Ron, you've been doing a lot of things with your YouTube channel, so I just want to kind of plug that a little bit. The Retro Sports Network. What have you been doing?
Let's see. Right now, we are doing a 1982 Major League Replay. About 10 weeks into it. Hard to believe. Time flies. And so we do those at Tuesday and Thursday at lunchtime, about the time that this video would be live. And because I'm live with you, it's Wednesday night in prime time at 7 o'clock. I'm doing a basketball game, at least one on the weekend, either the Celtics or Lakers. Magic and Larry Bird's rookie year. Just did Larry and meeting Dr. J for the first time. And one that you'll have some interest in is the Patriots Challenge for football. My little off-season football project till we go in the fall for our full season replay again. And we're going to play a what-if with 6 games between the 2007 Patriots and a variety of all-time classic teams. 72 Dolphins, 85 Bears, I think, and the 89 49ers, I think, are the highlights of that, along with some other teams. So that will start this week.
Yeah, and if Mike or if anybody hasn't seen Ron do the broadcast, these are PC strategy games that he does, and they're really fun to watch because you can see the field, whether it's the football field or the baseball diamond, and he kind of lets the computer play it out, and he plays these seasons from the past, and you see all the old familiar names from the past playing these games out, and it's just a simulation game done on the computer, and he kind of broadcasts the game like you were watching it live on TV or listening on the radio. And it's really a lot of fun, especially hearing all the old names and seeing how the old seasons play out compared to the actual results of that season. It's really fun. The football is a lot of fun to watch, and even the baseball as well.
The football was kind of wild. I mean, we did the 2 or 3 games a week from the entire 1978 season, and then did the entire playoffs online, and we matched the same result. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Dallas Cowboys to win the championship that year.
Yeah, and I think that year the Patriots were actually the best team in the league in your simulation, right?
They were the #1 seed in the AFC. New England had a 10-point lead in the AFC Championship game.
So I was almost New England, Dallas.
And I could just, the chat, I do this with 2 monitors when I'm doing a game. And so I've got the game in front of me and I'm looking to my TV over here. And you could just feel the energy deflate as Pittsburgh came back in that game. I don't think Pittsburgh ever got the credit from me that they virtually deserve for not only being the Patriots, but they had to come back to beat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl too.
Yep. So it's fun time. These things are fun. I have my my Red Sox hat on here. I am doing Out of the Park Baseball 19. As soon as things settle down, with my mom and the whole bit, I want to find some time, and I'm going to be playing the 1977 Red Sox season. And again, I don't really manage the team. I just kind of let the computer do it and just broadcast the game. It's really kind of fun. But I did make a couple of moves to make that season interesting. I had in 1977, I had the Red Sox trade Bernie Cabo. If you remember Bernie Cabo, I traded Bernie Cabo to the Yankees for Reggie Jackson. Now that would never happen. It would never happen. I get it, but that's the fun you can have in these old games. You can do whatever you want. You just check the button to enter commissioner mode, and I traded a disgruntled Reggie Jackson to the Red Sox for a playoff hero, Bernie Cabo, and I want to see how that plays out. And I also traded the Red Sox #2 and #3 pitcher. He's 22 years old. Somebody I didn't recognize from 1977. I traded them for Mark Fidrich, a 22-year-old local guy named Mark Fidrich. So the 1977 Red Sox will have Reggie Jackson and Mark Fidrich in my replay, and I'll be starting that soon. I want to see how the Sox do that season.
Did I tell you I interviewed Bernie Cabo?
No.
About 7 or 8 years ago when I was doing a podcast show, and Bernie is evangelical. He's cleaned up his life considerably from his days of being in the Boston Globe all the time for being naughty. And he did not want to talk about that. We did not even ask him about that. But he's an intense man. And that was 10, 15 minutes of rapid fire questions and responses. A nice guy. I believe he's doing, had a children's camp or something like that. But yeah, I actually got to chat with Bernie Cabo.
That's really cool.
All right.
Yeah. So just want to talk about your channel a little bit, what's going on. So I think we could wrap up this week. And Mike, thanks for coming on. Hope you had some fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, guys in the chat room. Jeremy in the chat room was giving you a shout out. So if you go back and watch this, I think you can actually watch the live chat. Can you, Ron?
You can. After it all processes, the live chat pops up.
Okay, cool.
So a couple hours from now, you'll be able to go through and amaze your family and say you're a YouTube star and see what everyone said about you. Hit that like button and subscribe, by the way. All right, and so that'll do it for this week on the E. We hope that we're with you next week. You're not buying any new vehicles or doing any massive plumbing projects, Dave?
I don't plan on any. We got rid of the Mini Cooper convertible, as well as her cars. We traded in 2 for 1, so
it's a sharp car.
Next week is
I got that Escape in the fall, and it just was a little smaller than I was used to. So she started driving it, and she loved it. And I said, well, we don't really drive the third car. I said, why don't we get rid of the other 2, and I'll get a little bit bigger one. So I got the Ford Edge, which is a little bit bigger than the Escape, but not as big as the Explorer. And just that little bit of room makes a huge difference. I can put all the hockey stuff in there without it stacking up and blocking my view from the back, which I didn't like. I don't think that's very safe.
It's not.
Yeah, I like to look and see everywhere. So now that I have the Edge, it's a little bit bigger in the back. So all the stuff lays flat and it fits in nice, and there's plenty of room. So she's got this Escape now, and she loves that. And I have this one here. We get rid of the Mini Cooper, and it's yeah. So that's what we did last week. And one last note: what was really funny is I was comparing the Edge to the Explorer, trying to figure out which one I wanted to get. I knew the Explorer was bigger, but I just wanted a comparison. So what do you think happened when I typed in Edge versus Explorer on the internet?
Is that a wrestling name?
I got a web browser comparison.
Of course you did. Microsoft's babies.
Yeah, so it talked about the Microsoft Edge against the Microsoft Explorer and the difference between them. Didn't help me decide on a car, but it was still interesting read.
All right, so we should be with you next Wednesday at noontime on March 20th for the next edition of This Week on the E with Dave, myself, and hopefully a guest. Until then, we'll talk to you the next time.
Yep, and thanks everybody that joined in live in the chat real quick. I just want to say hi to Nate Scott. And Robbie joined us for a bit. Bobby was in the chat as well. And Jeremy and Richard Rowell. So, yeah, just a quick thanks to everybody that joined in live. I know it's kind of a tough time here at lunch, but if you can join in, even just on your phone, you can chat in the whole bit on the phone. So thanks everybody that joined in live. And, again, you can watch this, immediately after, as well. So, yeah, thank you. And we hope to see everybody next week. Ron, thank you.
No
Mike,
problem.
thank you. And we'll talk to everybody later.